Ken and Kathy Laverty live in White Lake, and together they run KD Leathercraft.
For myself, I've been doing leather since 1958, full-time since 1977. We do everything ourselves right from the hide. These are all the hides that are up here that we work from. Everything's done by hand. We have any operated machines that aren't hand machines we don't use. This is being done for regalia for kilt and highlands. This is what we start from, is a piece of hide like the full hide. This is what this was originally, plus these pieces I'm holding. We have to cut them and strip them, which is what we're doing. These two strips will go towards forming the next one. Then they have to be designed. So when they come out, they'll have the Celtic knot designed through the center. And then after they're put together, they'll be dyed black. This is rolled onto the leather while it's wet. And what you put in the leather when it's wet remains there when it's dry. These are standard belt strips, which would come off the hide the same as these ones did, but they're done at 1.5 inches, which is the most common belt size. We always have 300 or 400 finished ahead and hanging on the rack. These are all the various tools we use, which are an imprinting tool, which is done, some are made out of metal, like this, and some are done out of a compound. This item here will exert 3 tons pressure on the leather when it's wet. The bigger one will give me 12 tons pressure. This is a die you use for imprinting your leather. I've taken a piece off the hide here, and what you do with leather when you're working with it is you spray it with water. What that does, it loosens the fibers. Using this particular type of die, we put a piece of foam underneath the leather. This is in about 1/8 of an inch, and the press I'm using is a 1 ton. So what we'll do is we'll apply pressure evenly around the whole of the die plate. Now the end design, I don't know how well that's going to show up because the leather is wet. There's 2 ducks in flight. This will be a wallet, and that's what the design will be like when it's finished and color dyed for contrast. You're actually ending with a raised design. If you run your hand over it, you'll feel where it's pushed up. That's why we put the sponge underneath. As we put the pressure on, the sponge helps force the design up while the rest of the leather is being compacted. Now these are permanently in here once they're put in there. These are wallet. For a wallet, when it's finished, we lace all the edges with a lock stitch, which is made out of calfskin. This is a wolf wallet that's been done. It's just another few stages before we're finished. Using a wheel like this one, which gives you 5 marks to the inch. You can see the marks here on the edge of the leather have already been put on. We still have to put pieces on the inside of this, which would make the pockets and everything. Then it's punch 1 hole at a time by hand. And there's probably about 250 to 300 holes on a wallet. This is a leather lacing needle here. And this is always calfskin or goat skin for lace. It gets placed underneath here, and there's 2 little prongs that lock it in place. And what you would do to start, you'd put it here, and you go through this hole, and then you reverse and go back. This is called a lock stitch, which takes wear point on the edge of the wallets. So what I'm creating here is an X with the leather lace. So that when I do the next one, we go back under this hole here, I've made saddles, I've made harness. Hard to say, but unusual. All of them are, lots of times we've rebuilt saber cases for pieces that have gone in the Canadian War Museum. We do gun holsters for different types of guns. But what you see there are the models that I use, and we wet form the holster to fit the particular model of firearm. We also do all the cowboy style doubles and cases for knives and just about everything you can think of. Motorcycle gear, saddlebags, guitar straps. We're always working on a number of orders because there's different phases in the leather. This is a guitar strap for a customer. It's done here. Where he gets an item with his name on, which makes it very personal. We show at many of the county fairs. The ribbons were awards for commercial displays. We received a number of ribbons from the different fairs. So I registered the business in 1962, so after all these number of years, everybody knows. A lot of people know the minute they see me, or when they walk into a show somewhere and look at the leather, they know where it came from. People are looking for something, but it's hard to find somebody that still does things by hand. Whereas this is the way our preference is.